All right, now let's talk the bear. We got Andrew joining us now for this.
Hello.
Let's just do a quick synopsis really quick. Young chef from the world of fine dining comes home to Chicago to run his family's Italian beef sandwich shop. What'd you guys think? Spoilers for the bear, by the way.
Good little synopsis.
Yeah.
But other ways,
What?
uh,
Otherwise,
What did you
huh?
just say?
Other
It's
ways.
anyways. I got you though. I'll edit this out
yeah,
for
you know
sure.
what? Let me
I'll
let
take
me
care of that.
start off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come
let.
out. I'm gonna come out and say it. This is hands down. Now I don't have Apple again. Supporters, please like, subscribe, follow us
This
on
is a Hulu
everything.
show.
I need all the goddamn money I can get so
This
I can
one's on
watch
Hulu.
Severance. But I bummed Hulu off my uncle. Phenomenal goddamn show. Best show of 2022. I was supposed to say 2020. Um, that I've seen. I remember when the trailer came out, I sent it to you guys in our fucking Instagram group chat. It was
I
like,
thought Aiden sent that.
nope, that was me. That's all me. Been hyping this show up since I
I
saw
think
the
I did send
trailer.
that.
Yeah, I
Nope,
think you did,
didn't
Aiden.
didn't send shit.
I think I did.
Nope, cat. But I said to you guys, it was like, hey, this is gonna be worth a watch. Cut to like a month after that, I was randomly on Hulu and it popped up, and I was like, let me give this a go. Watched the whole thing in one goddamn sitting. Loved it.
Jeez.
Ended up rewatching it. Just finished that up like yesterday. The bear is just I've worked at a Little Caesars. I've never worked in like an actual kitchen. But if we had this show then, Josh worked with me there, I know we would have been yelling at each other, calling each other chef and saying
And
hands or corner
Corner.
just because of this goddamn show.
he's like, you didn't say corner.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
Yeah, so I'll put or I'll give my spiel on it. I thought it was excellent, from start to finish. Intrigued, dude. It was sick, badass. For anyone that didn't know, I worked at a restaurant for about 5 years. I was not in the kitchen. I did not make any food. I can't even cook for myself, so uh, have no correlation to that. But just being in that atmosphere is definitely um spot on. Another show that I could recommend that's similar to this would be Chef, John Favreau. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that, but it's very similar to that. The one thing I was watching it until episode 7, the best episode of the entire show.
You
What
notice
is it?
it wasn't
14 minutes
there was
long?
a single cut.
Yeah. Oh, was
Dude,
it?
yeah,
It was just
Seven.
like
one
It's
shot.
seven.
once they got into the restaurant, from like the second he starts reading the newspaper, it's one continuous
Oh,
shot.
well, I mean, Hulu fucking sucks with their ads, so that's probably why I didn't get it when I'm waiting
Oh
2 minutes
yeah.
per,
You
what's it
have.
called?
Oh, I should let you borrow
No.
mine. Fuck,
Yeah,
dude.
please. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what took me so long. But
Yeah, I think in episode 7 it cuts to black like only like 5 or 6 times, and the rest
yeah,
it's all
no,
one
it was
shot. It's
it was the
amazing.
best episode because out of that entire 6 episodes that I watched, I'm like, how has no one not no called, no show, no one walked out, none of that? Because literally every day when I was at work, someone would walk out or
Yeah.
someone would just not show up, and then other people would get pissed that they have to take over their stuff or their task, and then they would walk out. It's just a chain reaction. But
Yeah, and then too, I was like, what do one of them do when one's off for the day or some shit, you
yeah,
know?
so I
Yeah.
mean that's why they didn't really show that. And it's crazy to me that like you remember when they would wake up and it's like 3:40 in the morning and they're like, fuck it, I'm going to work. And they
Yeah.
would just go.
Go.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean realistically most chefs don't give a shit about that. I understand that like the whole basis of this entire show is family, which makes sense. But I mean obviously that Sydney girl wasn't part of the family. And especially towards the end when they find all that cash, when he finally gives them that note from Mikey. Um I'm surprised that they even let her in, but obviously it all ties in. That was
Yeah.
the basis of the show. One thing that I do hope is that it's a limited series. I would honestly be fine without seeing a second season.
Oh fuck you.
I mean, realistically though, it's a
Fuck
story. They're
you.
I mean,
telling a
they set it up
story.
to a
They
second
set it
season
up for
though.
a second season.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole basis of this was that he needed, you know, comfort from his brother that he never received, and he was waiting for all of that. And, all the bills were stocking up, and he couldn't pay it. But now they're gonna go and like, what's gonna be the hardship in the second season is what I'm
You could
Well,
curious
see
here's
how
what
about.
they're.
here's what you go ahead, Andrew.
I was gonna say you could see how they're building the quote unquote actual bear restaurant in the second
Yeah,
season. You could see all of that, so it definitely has potential. I'll kind of piggyback off of what you guys both said, and that it was awesome. I
Yeah.
liked it quite a lot. I only went into it from the recommendation from Brian, and then even when someone recommends me something, I still kind of look it up. So I looked it up, and I was like, oh, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, all right, if it's got Brian's recommendation and 100, this has got to be at least decent at the minimum. And I came out of it very, very happy. I remember the first episode, though, you guys probably do too. It's hectic as fuck. Like, you have
Oh
no
yeah.
That
idea what is
that's
going
what I
on.
love,
And
dude.
I was like, if every episode is like this show can't be that good. But it's just that first one that kind of gets you into that restaurant atmosphere, which I've never experienced.
Stressful as
Yeah,
fuck.
I've never worked in that atmosphere, so I
Yeah.
don't know what that's like. I've never worked in fast food or a restaurant, so I don't know what that's like. But I feel like they've like right off the bat just get you right into it. You get to feel what it's like, and then also like some of the shots of I don't really watch shows with food in them unless there's like people
Made you
eating
hungry
real
as
quick.
fuck.
That show made you hungry as fuck. The shots they do of like the
Try watching that
food
at
stuff.
3 a.m.
Dude,
Oh my God. I was like, I'm fucking like I want some food right now.
I remember fucking sitting down. I had just gotten Taco Bell, and I was like, "All right, gonna start watching The Bear." And they're chefing it up, and I was like, "I just feel like a piece of shit eating this fucking quesarito right now."
That's funny.
I mean, do you guys think that? I think that the
Josh,
main
anything about the show
character,
yet?
Jeremy Allen White, I think that he deserves an Emmy, man.
Yeah, no,
Like,
he was
Dude,
it's
absolutely
not
awesome.
easy, and he probably has no restaurant
Oh,
background at all. And you got to think like
dude,
he
dude.
goes in, and you think that it seems so
well,
realistic.
because I didn't realize until after the fact that what's his name? The mechanic dude.
Oh, Neil?
Is that his name, Neil?
Yeah, Neil.
I didn't realize Neil is like an actual chef, and they brought him on to be a producer, and then he was like, "Fuck it, like I'll just act in it too."
Really?
Yeah,
I did
Yeah,
not know
like
that.
he's like an actual chef.
I didn't know
Like
that either.
when I was looking up the Instagram, obviously I knew Jeremy from fucking Shameless, and
Hmm.
then I was just kind of looking into everyone else, and yeah, this motherfucker already had like 1 million followers on Instagram, and he's like the only like real well known one from the show, other than
It
Lip from Shameless.
says he's a Canadian chef, restaurateur, and internet personality.
That probably helped definitely add then to the
Oh
show and the
yeah.
producer, because if you have an actual chef in the place, I mean, and another thing that I'll add, I got a kick out of them all calling each other chef, like even though that was like part of it, I thought that
Yes,
was
chef.
Hmm.
yeah.
And then I just love the explanation too. It's like the whole time is what I love. It's so hectic and he's so yelling. And Richie's just like, "What the fuck are you doing to this place?" Yada yada yada. And then he goes, "I call everyone chef out of a sign for respect."
Yeah, dude, that guy was pissing me off, man.
uh,
Richie.
I will say through the second
But then
watch through,
it
I
makes
had an
up.
appreciation for Richie.
Oh
Because when
yeah.
they're sitting in the car after they post his bail at the very end, and he goes, "How do you like get the money?" And he goes, "2 week parachute." And then he's just sitting there, and like you can tell he's crying because like he also misses Mikey. Like Mikey was like his brother,
Mhm.
and he just goes, "You're all I got, cuz." And then like that's just like you could tell in that moment it was just like, ah, fuck, like it's really like this for everyone. Like everyone is affected by what Mikey did, and now here we see it, and it's just like it's sad as fuck. And leading off that, the fucking monologue that they go into,
Oh
or
yeah.
not even they, but the monologue that fucking Carmi has in episode 8 during that I forget what those meetings are
AA
called.
meeting
Hey,
Yeah, well, this not AA, but
for
Not
essentially
drugs.
AA.
AA.
Yeah,
No, well, for your family, that's like a fuck.
yeah.
And that monologue just of why he did what he did, and then you see it. And that's when Richie finally gives him the card. Is that episode 2, and the fact it just says "Love you, dude. Let it rip," and then Carmi just going "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, like so I when I was watching that scene, because it's like 6 minutes long of him not really staring at the camera, but he's staring at the audience while the camera's pointing at him, and it
Hmm.
doesn't cut away at all,
Nope.
and
Yeah.
it just focuses on his face, and he's sad and mad at the same time while he
That's
lets
what I'm
some tears
saying,
come
man.
down.
And he's like happy too because he's reminiscing. Like
Yeah,
when
and
he
he's
goes,
like
"Food
telling a
was always our
story.
common ground. Like that's where we would unite."
Yeah, dude, like I swear I was 4 or 5 minutes into the 6 minute monologue and I started to chuckle and my girlfriend's like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Like this is a pretty serious scene." And I'm like, "It's just amazing what I'm watching right now. Like this is
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm
Like
saying,
I
man, this
can't
shit
believe
deserves an
he's doing
Emmy.
this right
Like,
now."
literally, this
Yeah.
Yeah.
shit will get nominated. I guarantee you right now. I'm calling you that it'll win. Like,
Yeah, and
it's
then
just mint. There's nothing wrong with this show.
no. And then two, episode 7, like I'm freaking out the entire time. I'm like, "This is one shot." I'm like freaking out the entire time in the whole
The
20
camera
minutes.
work was insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Insane.
The
Yeah.
only
No,
thing I really hated about this entire show was the shitty VFX. The fake fire,
Fire.
the
Yeah.
fake
Yeah.
yeah,
The
it was that
bear.
was it. No, it
The
was
fake
Yeah.
really just
bear.
the fake fire. The fake
The
fire
bear
was
looked fake too.
Dude,
yeah.
just all of episode 8, because 8 is that where it starts off with like the dream
Yeah, he's
where
in the
he
cooking
goes,
show.
guys who took my stuff.
Yeah, but that looked good. That wasn't
And
even
then
that bad.
behind the camera was the fucking bear, the guy in a bear
Yeah.
costume.
Yeah,
Oh,
but that wasn't even that
fuck.
bad. I thought that scene actually looked pretty good. All the like PTSD flashbacks that he was having, like when he was sleeping and doing all that.
Yeah.
I thought that looked fine. But
And
when they did
then,
the fire and when he was looking at it to light a cigarette, it blew up. And then
well,
that
because I
fire
was
was
gonna
fake as shit.
say, well, what was sweet though about that scene was episode 3 when what's his name? It's Lionel from Odd Future. I forget his name in the
Marcus.
show. Marcus. When Marcus fucks up and the power goes out, and that's also one of the realest scenes is when he's out in the alley and Carmi comes out there to smoke the cig, and he's looking at him. He goes, "What's up, chef?" And he goes, "Fucked up." And he said, like, he goes, "I'm the reason this happened." And he goes, "It'll never happen again." And Carmi just taps him and goes, "Yes, you will. Not because you're you, but because this shit happens in this industry." And then
Yeah.
he goes, "Come on, you're gonna be a little pussy bitch. You come party with us. Or you're gonna sit out here and sulk." And he goes, "Fuck you. I'm coming." And then you cut to, because during that speech, Carmi tells Marcus, he's like, "I remember I started a fire." And he goes, "And in that moment, you can either react and put it out and get back." And he goes, "Or you can let the whole bitch go up and you're free." And then you see that fire in episode 8. And that's why
Yeah.
he completely froze. He
Yeah.
just got on top. He's chilling. And then he's just like, he starts a fire. And it's just like, I could let this whole bitch go right now.
Well, you
Yep.
can hear it whispering to him when
Carefree.
he's looking at the fire. He's like, let it go, let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And
You
that's what was
just
wild
burn that
too.
shit
After
down.
that dream ended, and it was like Mikey talking to him.
Mhm.
That was crazy as fuck. Also, the casting for Mikey, I didn't look up any casting until after the
Man.
fact. I
Dude,
did
you son of a
not
bitch.
expect him.
Yeah, no one.
I
They
didn't-
didn't
I
even
didn't
show a
tell-
Brian,
picture.
you
When
spoiled it
Did I
for
tell you?
me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So I was at the bar with Brian, and I'm on episode 5. I tell him I just finished episode 5, and he goes, "Dude, isn't the casting for the brother crazy?"
They
And then
showed the
before I could
brother.
say, no, it didn't. Not until episode 6. At,
It
at the beginning of
doesn't. I
episode
just
6,
looked.
at the
yeah,
beginning
it
of
wasn't
episode
until
6, it's
episode
John
6,
Bernthal,
man.
and he tells me, he goes, "Dude, it's crazy. John Bernthal's the brother," and I'm like, because I
So
hadn't
I had
seen.
a full mystery. That was good. Good
Yeah, dude.
surprise
So
for
Yeah,
me.
same
I
here.
was taken from the shock,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so you son of a bitch.
Ah, should have
Shit.
watched it when I sent it like the first week, dumbass.
Well,
And then when I told you I watched it in one sit down like 3 weeks ago, could have watched it then.
I was gonna say after you said that, that's when I was like, all right, I'll hop on it and check it out. And I literally I sat there and watched it in 2 days, like the whole show. And one random thing that I thought of earlier today when I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about this, that is kind of cool that they do. In the first episode, they bring up the tomato sauce cans, and he's like, why do we have such these
Yeah.
massive ones, and throws it out.
Yeah, dude, he
Uh,
throws away the
So he goes,
bando.
yeah.
Awesome
And then-
foreshadowing. And when you think about that, I mean, he probably threw away like $10,000.
Yeah.
Just not even thinking about it. But I just like that it's something so insignificant that you don't even think about until literally the last 5 minutes of the show, and you're like, holy shit, this is why he's got the big tomato
Dude, yeah,
can.
and then what else is really funny? Foreshadowing thing I noticed in the rewatch was when the power does go out, and Neil gives him the price. They literally say the price. Carmi repeats it. They cut to the walk-in of all the cans, and then they just cut right back to the conversation happening inside of like the kitchen, and it was just
I
like,
didn't notice that.
"Boo, motherfucker!"
That's
like,
clever.
all there, and I just didn't realize it at the time.
That's
The one
clever.
thing when they go, remember when they finally wipe the shelves with all the all the tomato cans, and then like he's walking out to go put this sign on the window saying that real beef is gone and that the bear's coming.
Mhm.
And there's one can left
Yep.
underneath the shelf. I was waiting for like Richie or someone to go grab that, but it's kind of just chilling there. So maybe he'll get it in season 2 and just have some spending money for himself. But I don't know.
I mean, so do you guys think
Sick
Michael actually
though.
killed himself?
I think there's something
I think he was shot.
bigger going on.
I think he was killed.
Yeah,
I think
because I mean, how to get
Yeah.
all that money?
what was it? The case something like electronics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
KSG
think I said it in
Electronics.
episode 6. I was like, I think he got shot. I think someone shot him. And then after seeing the money, I'm like more certain about
Yep.
it. Because at
Yeah.
first I was just
Yeah.
saying it to say it. Then I was like, oh, like
Or
this
it
could
could have
be.
been if he did kill himself, it was because he was cornered and he didn't
Maybe.
want that going back on the family. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something more like that. Because again, Richie gives that that little thing and he goes when he's talking to Carmi and he's just like, I just didn't know. He's like, I could have done more. And then he's like, what else could you have done? He goes, I don't know, just more. And he goes, no, I couldn't have thought that he would do that. He was just so loud. And he goes, just so fucking Mikey. And then it was
Yeah.
just like, damn.
Well, like, do you think he knows more? Do you think Richie knows more than he leads on?
Well,
I
Richie
don't think.
definitely knows more than Carmi because again of like the selling the coke. And again, I'm glad that they briefly went over COVID, but didn't make it a whole thing. Goes, how the hell do you think we stayed alive during COVID?
Yeah.
But I
Did they
think
mention
Richie knew
COVID?
a lot.
They did, yeah, Richie
Because that's when
mentioned
they
it.
were selling the coke.
And in that same episode, Sydney at the very beginning gets on the train or whatever, and you see someone wearing a mask. And I noticed it right away, and I was like, oh, so is COVID like a thing in this world? And then they mentioned COVID in that episode, so
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's realistic.
yeah.
That was
Yeah,
just
I
probably
mean,
them filming and someone actually having
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
well, that's what I thought. I was
An
like, oh,
extra.
maybe they missed that. Yeah, it was literally just a quick second thing, but yeah.
Oh man, I just really like how like accurate it was. I mean, like you said, like everything, like hands behind all that corner. That's all you say. Like anytime you work in a restaurant, I've never seen someone get stabbed. I don't think that happens
With
often,
the
but
intensity, the stabbing, I was kind of happy it was just that because I think I told Andrew this. My biggest concern was when they would zoom in during a rush and someone would be like cutting vegetables and shit. I was
Yeah.
so scared that we were gonna watch someone just cut a finger off.
yeah, I mean, I was ready for that
I was
too.
on edge the whole time that they would do that.
But it is funny because like if you do like I mean even when I would prep, I'm cutting onions or anything, you stab your hand or you cut your finger, like
Yep.
run it underwater, wrap it up, and let's go. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
no stopping at all. Um, I also like when they're outside drinking out of those big to go cups. Like
Yeah.
there's not actual cups. You don't ever
Mm-hmm.
use those. That's how all the chefs would use stuff like that. I mean, even like I don't know, man.
I
Just
remember
everything.
Tape on
There's
his
seeing
finger.
nothing that
online.
was. The one thing I was mad about was that no one was walking out, and then episode 7 made up for it
You get
all.
to see, yeah.
You
Yeah.
get that's exactly how it is right
I
there.
will say though, him yelling at Marcus was just funny as fuck because there's like so much panic going on. Marcus is fucking around with donuts after he
Yeah.
told him not to, and when Marcus gives him the donuts, just why are you fucking with me, chef? Why are you fucking with me?
I'm surprised, but like that's the thing is that it
and
wasn't
then
like
the
a big
scene after
restaurant.
that where he yells at Sydney and just get the fuck off my expo, chef.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Dude.
intense, and I thought he was rightfully pissed off. I think through the rewatch,
No,
he
No.
was
you're not
he
supposed to
was
take his side on that.
really intense. I get it, you're not, but at the same time, like Sydney
Dude,
just up and leaving her own idea.
yeah, no, that was
Fuck
stupid.
you. That was so
Yeah, that was stupid as
stupid.
fuck. But she was going crazy,
And she
man.
did
Like
just
it's
accidentally
true.
stab a guy, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
she was just
everything was
in
just
like
going bad.
How old is
massive
she in the show, by the
distress.
way?
I gotta assume like
I thought
25.
she was
Yeah.
fresh out of high school in the first episode, and
No.
then
No,
She went
because
And
she
then-
did
to
all the
culinary.
traveling.
Yeah, she
the
did CIA and all that.
yeah, so
That
I was
takes
like
years.
confused because she seems
Yeah.
super young. I
No,
mean,
dude,
so
the
you guys
one
didn't like
thing.
that character?
No, she was great.
I did too. I liked
Oh
her.
yeah, she was
She
mint.
was
I mean,
cool.
it's
She
just
just
crazy
was a
that.
little
I
annoying
mean,
at
it's
times.
just only that scenario only happens that she can take over and like do stuff because he's young as well.
Yeah.
They're probably like similar in age. If it was a established restaurant runner, general manager, anything like that, that shit would have never flew.
What was her title? Like when she got there, she was just like a fill-in. They have a name for it.
It's
I'm not
a
sure.
it's a
Is it a
not a
sous?
massager. Oh, sous chef is like someone that like the head chef in the kitchen. So
I
she doesn't
forget what
prep.
it's
She doesn't
called.
make food. She just watches and makes sure everyone does their job.
Yeah, but that was
Was
funny. She just came in like that. She was like, "Yeah, my dad left this place, so I want to work here." And then
Yeah.
on top of that, she's the only one that knew who the fuck like Carmi
Hmm.
was, like for
Yeah.
real. Everyone
Yeah.
else is like, this guy could blow it out of his ass, but she knows he worked at the ranked #1 restaurant in the world,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and like that was cool as fuck. And that whole thing too, where they cut and Carmi's up in New York again, and it's the guy like just like talking shit in
In
his
his
ear,
ear.
bro. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
This
He
is
Dude, they
goes,
couldn't
horrible.
have had
because
anyone
you're
play his
fucking
part better than he would.
Napoleon complex. He goes, you want to be so different. That's why you got your little tattoos. And I was getting pissed for him. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Brian,
Dude,
was that
it's insane.
in that flashback of Carmi working at the actual kitchen in New York or whatever?
Mhm.
Was that Joe McHale,
You know, he
the dude
looked
from Community?
familiar. He
Yeah,
looked
I couldn't tell
super
because
familiar.
with the glasses and everything, but I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that sounds just like him, and it kind of looks like him.
Hmm.
I didn't look it up, but I was like, Brian might know that.
No,
It
I
looked
don't.
just like
I
him
don't
though.
think. I think I looked it up at the time, but I didn't look it up this like second time around.
Yeah, he was talking so much shit to him. Like, you are
That
such a
fucking
little
one.
bitch.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why
dude.
even he himself, like Carmi, was the fuck's his name? Why am I drawing a blank?
Which one?
Oh,
Wait,
Hell's Kitchen. Gordon Ramsay. It
Gordon.
was Gordon Ramsay-esque. And I
Well, yeah,
like
I think
that. That was
Carmi
sweet.
just took a lot from that, and like
Yeah.
that's what made him better.
That's
So
what
like
they
that's
base
why
it
he
off of.
was
But at least
doing
he
it
was
to them.
respectful, you know?
Yeah,
Like that's the best part about it. Because
yeah,
he knows that it's not easy. And I mean that's like the best thing ever is that and that's why he is successful because he understands.
yeah. That was him in the bear. That's funny.
You
It's a
guys
good
think
role.
this deserves a 100% Rotten Tomatoes? I think so.
No,
Not
give it a.
100%.
I mean, I'll
no.
wait till
With the
the end
shitty VFX?
when we.
No.
I'll wait till the end when we give our scores out of 100. But right off the bat, I'm gonna say no.
I'm just surprised. I wonder, like people that did work in the industry, like even like that's why I said I want my dad to watch it because, dude, it would literally everything that he's ever dealt with, especially when you. That's what I was going back to. He's up in the window and they put the to-go orders in, and the ticket thing machine is just nonstop printing. Dude, that happened. I've been there so many times, and literally, you just general manager, everyone, get the fuck out of the way. And
Yeah,
then that's literally how it is. And everyone steps back and it's dead silent and they're just firing stuff all days, everything like that.
but like
Dude, the
for people that
fucking
don't,
firing was just so badass. Like episode 7, when everything hits the fan, he goes,
Yeah.
"We have whatever amount of beefs, 18 whole chickens." He goes, "Fire everything, fire fucking everything."
But that's why that episode was so short, and I wish they would have showed like how he got out of it. Like, there's
Yeah,
nowhere
Yeah,
he
because they
didn't
did
walk
just kind
out,
of cut
and
cut away.
they lost two people, and they go in. Like, yeah, you don't know. He just wakes up on the couch in the next episode.
that
I think
was
it.
just
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just assumed that they failed and like couldn't process those orders, and
Yeah, but I
Orders.
mean, they never really had anything about bad reviews either. You know,
they had
like
that
they should have
C.
just unplugged the fucking. Well, that's
yeah,
health
dude. Yeah,
inspection.
they couldn't.
That's
They
not.
wouldn't pick it up. That was
That's not
funny.
reviews. That's
No one
health
wants to
And
pick
inspection.
they
up the
got that review
C
from
and
the
put it up.
newspaper. They
Yeah,
got
but
that
the news
newspaper
report
review.
was good.
Yeah,
It was
that was
still a
funny
review.
though how he made it up to Sydney, or not made it up, but his first text to her after she left was needs acid. No context. She goes, "What?" He goes, "Your dish, it needs acid." When it comes to the risotto, because he was like, and that was the thing too, that like, because Sydney's character is supposed to be kind of annoying. Like they wrote her like that, and like they literally said, like Carmi goes, "You think I didn't look up your file and talk to all your previous employers to see who I was getting?" He goes, "They say you're a great chef. You're just very impatient."
Yeah,
True.
And
she
like that's,
changed Tina though.
yeah, dude. Tina, I'm glad she came around because Tina, like,
Yeah.
I liked her
Bitch at
from the
first.
beginning, but Giant, like, you could argue that she is the C word. Don't really like saying it, but Tina's just an asshole. And you know for a fact, Tina's the one that took Carmi's good ass knife and tossed it underneath the thing.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
she was just one of those like.
It's either
I'm
her
sure
or
that's.
Richie.
Yep, I'm sure that's in any industry, especially maybe a restaurant.
Yeah,
Like
the
they're used
paying
to
your
they're
dues.
used
There's
to their
always a Tina.
person. Yep, they're used to
That's with
paying
any
their
job
dues.
though. If a new
That's my
manager
point.
comes
But
in,
see,
and
they only showed one Tina. Everyone else is respectful. There are 10 Tinas.
Yeah.
yeah,
Everyone is Tina. That's the thing that they didn't show. Like
Yeah, no,
some,
and
they
and
get a new guy, they're like, "Fuck off." They'll literally
and
tell it
like
right to your face.
the best thing I can make is a bowl of cereal. So the fact that like I thought it was really entertaining to watch them make this food really says something. So even if you're someone who's not from a food background or anything like that, or you don't even know how to make food or anything like that, it's still very entertaining to watch. And I liked how every single episode progressed, like the process of them changing that the restaurant, making it better. I mean, from the first episode all the way to the eighth episode, you can tell that the place is just cleaner. It looks like
I was gonna say you can.
whiter and brighter
Yep,
and better.
exactly. Like from episode 1 to episode 8, the literal facility where they're working, even it, just in general, things look more organized. Like they
Oh
did a
yeah, it
really
looks
good
so
job.
nice.
Like with just do.
Richie in episode one freaking out. He's like, "Where's the fucking pepper flakes?" And like he goes, "See, this is why we can't do this shit." Marcus comes walking up and goes, right here where it says pepper flakes." And that's when I knew I was gonna fuck with Marcus in the show. I was like, all right, Marcus actually wants to know. Like the second that he got his hands on like the pictures of the shit that Carmi had made, like dessert wise, he just hung
Yeah.
them up and he goes, I just like the colors. I was like, Marcus, I fuck with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think
Dude.
that was one thing that really like got him down when he got yelled at because of the, like he was passionate about the fucking whatever the donuts that he was trying to make, and Carmi's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Because
Basically,
he's
like
in a
Yeah.
mid rush and he just wants to
Yeah,
he's
fuck
but
making
also
around.
that's
donuts.
what's funny. Mid rush, he gets down and eats the donut off the ground and just smiles because he knew he like fucked up and completely like
But
got
that's
this
the thing
guy
is
to
that
leave.
even when he went up, when he was on, when he came to a station, when he returned back in the final episode, like in the last couple minutes, he didn't say anything about the dessert, which I'm
Yeah,
surprised. I thought he was gonna at least mention it,
yeah.
but yeah, he never brought that up.
Yeah, there was just there's a lot to love in this. I thought there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot of turns that were taken in this, and I just really didn't expect it. Like again, I went into this knowing that
Corner.
Jeremy or whatever was going to be playing another Chicago guy, and everyone kept saying, "Oh, this guy loves Chicago." But like, fuck, like let him be because
Fuck, he
he's
plays
played
it
two
well.
great
Yeah, he's doing
characters.
well.
Let it happen.
That's what I'm saying. No one else. They
And
couldn't have casted anyone else to literally play that role. Like
no, that
Jeremy
was
Allen White
perfect.
is mint.
I
He
just
he fits the role. He looks like it. Everything perfect.
Yeah, did he always just look so fucking greasy too? Like his
Yeah.
hair was always standing up in weird ass
Yeah.
positions. Like he'd have like one random ass hair just like up.
Yeah, no, when he was doing that little monologue at the meeting, man, like I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, the
Like,
way that it was just like
look at that
frozen
guy in
up.
fucking shower. It's so funny, man. The other thing that I
Yeah.
really like is all the like the spilling, you know, how they're running into each other and they're fucking everything up. When
Yeah.
she's got the au jus on the top shelf
Oh
and
yeah.
she's like, "No, I'll get it." Literally, it just spills everywhere, dude.
Again, I understand
Mint,
why she was
mint.
mad because Marcus was kind of like doing that, like only stepping in if she needed something. But in that
Oh
situation, she
yeah,
should have been like, "Yeah, just grab that down."
yeah. But I mean, it's
Everything
just
else
foreshadowing. You
valid,
know,
but
it's
and I do
predictable as
like
fuck.
again, Marcus is a dog because she spills it. Marcus sees it, doesn't say a goddamn thing. It just pulls up and just starts cleaning it up with her.
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, no, I love it.
Look
I'm
at the
honestly
cast
really
list, and
curious.
Molly Ringwald was
Besides,
in it.
Was she a producer?
No, it says Al Anon, Anon. I don't know. L dash Anon. I didn't know it. She's like the ninth person listed here. I don't remember seeing her in it. Maybe it has her as a producer, but I don't know.
What did we think of Sugar? Sugar kind of pissed me off at times.
I mean, that's just a character, just an antagonist. I thought, hey, so what about the what episode where they did the birthday party and they gave the Xanax
Oh
was in
my
the
I thought that was gonna be a
god.
bigger
limited?
deal.
I thought
Dude,
they were
no,
dead.
but
Yeah.
what's his name just goes he goes,
Oh,
I kinda like it.
yeah, yeah. Because
And
he's
then on
going, he's
top
like,
of that,
this is fucking insane. When they're all, he's
they
like,
knock
what
out
kind of
the
crazy person
in-law.
opens someone else's presents? They're just ripping the presents around.
Dude, and then Richie
Oh,
doesn't bring ketchup.
Uncle
And
Jimmy.
he's like,
Yeah.
why the fuck would you not bring ketchup, Richie? And he goes, ketchup doesn't belong on hot dogs. He goes, they're fucking kids, Richie.
so Molly Ringwald plays the meeting moderator in episode 3 of The Bear. So she's, I think, the one that gives them the grade. I didn't even notice that.
Mm.
So that's funny. Yeah, I didn't even catch that. I don't know. That's funny though.
Oh, it was good.
But yeah, so you guys want to give our reviews or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. Who wants to go
Brian, you go
first?
ahead.
Brian,
You
lead us
recommended the
off.
show.
You recommended the show.
Yeah.
A lot on your plate here. This is the biggest review coming right now.
All right,
100 out of 100.
First 100?
first 100.
Oh.
First 100.
Wow.
From
First
Ooh.
100 on
start
this show. Are you
from
sure you want to do
start
this?
to
Yeah,
finish.
this is the first 100 on the
This
entire
is
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
this
For
is
yeah.
shows, for
this is big,
shows.
man.
For shows, I will say 100%. Again, I rewatched the second time, knowing damn well what was gonna happen, and I was like equally as entertained.
Okay.
This show was fucking phenomenal. If they end at season 2, I think they'd be hurting themselves. They'd probably go for 4, but if I just get one more season, I'd be happy. This show, again, never really worked in the industry. Little Caesars doesn't really cut it, but just the intensity of the goddamn show reminded me of like Uncut Gems, like how you're just
Yeah.
at the edge of your seat. But then on top of that, like I said, they do so much in this when they started tapping into like the mental health aspects of it all, and how his brother killing himself, and the fact that like it was like an open door because his brother wouldn't let him work in the restaurant with him, and he never knew why. And again, I don't think the letter really makes up for it, but at the same time, the fact that the love was there, having a sibling, not being the closest with them, like that'll fuck you up. But to get that clarification at the very end, at least it's like, hey, like you are my brother. I fucking love you. That was cool to see. I think that where they went with the show, unexpected. The idea of the restaurant being able to like turn around, and again, I don't. Is this considered a restaurant or more of like a shop?
It's a restaurant. They did have tables inside.
All right. Well, again, it's just like I didn't know what that was considered, and also it's crazy just seeing him go from like the number one chef to getting this like hole in the wall place that like we would go to all the fucking time, and
Yeah.
then it's like they're trying to update the menu but also like keep it the same,
Mhm.
and just all the battles of that, and then again you see the very end where they luck out with all of that fucking cash, and all the problems are just out of the window,
Mhm.
and
Yes. So,
that was yeah, just to, one last thing, that ending, so great. Everyone
Mhm.
coming together at the end. Sydney finally comes in, and then Carmi gives her the idea. He's like, place next door is for sale. We could do this and that, and like synchronized, just go, they have a window for sandwiches.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's just the chemistry between all the characters worked really fucking well.
Oh yeah, it was mint.
Yeah.
I can just piggyback off of you. You were saying like when, why did he give it to Carmen instead of anyone else? But that's because obviously he knew that he would understand what was going on. He can't just give it to someone else and then they find the money. It's family owned, family business, all that. So it was in good hands giving it to Carmen, and that was probably his, end game goal the entire time. Um, but going off of reviews, my rating I would give it, being in the service industry, working at a restaurant for all those years, mint, up to par. There's really nothing that you would see on a day-to-day basis that isn't in this show. Hectic as fuck, insane, nonstop. You don't eat. Like none of those guys ate, and you even saw like when they did family, she'd be like, "Eat this." You'd say no, because everyone is just dead, basically. Like
This
no one
was
wants to do
family
any
a
of that.
thing at the bistro.
No, but we would have tastes when you would all get together, like pre-shift meetings, and then everyone would try it. You'd just be like, "Oh, you literally get the spoon over your thing so you don't get it on you, or you don't spill it back into the dish, just to try it." Fucking money, dude. It makes me want to go back and just eat all that food. Literally, like you were saying, watching it is hard as hell because you get hungry as shit, especially watching that 2, 3 in the morning. Um, but my rating on this one, I'd honestly give it a 99. I don't think it's at 100. Honestly, yeah, 99's clean. I don't know how many points I'm going to take off for the shitty VFX on the fire when they're outside, when the power goes out, and the fire when it blows up on the stove. I mean, fire is not that hard to make, man. Like it can look a lot better. Well, all in all, man, Jeremy Allen White kills it. All the other cast, I think that the cast list is just mint, you know, scenarios. I'm honestly very curious to see like what inspiration they took from restaurants. Not because it can't just be that single guy alone, you know.
Yeah, I
What was
think
his
they
name?
solely brought him in just to produce
Maddie
and like show them
Matheson.
how to
Yeah, I
cook.
mean, yeah, for sure. And I mean, dude, that shit's not easy. You know, I give it to all of them because especially even those cuts and all that food that they're prepping, it's insane, man. Loved it.
Josh, you want to go or you want me to?
I'll go. I think your score is probably gonna be better than mine. I'll give it an
Mm.
88.
Ah, okay.
I think I loved 7 and 8 so much. Um, and honestly, in comparison of 1 through 6, it kind of the start of the season felt a little slow to me. I didn't know where we were going with this. I knew the whole premise was like he was going to try to run and like start his own kind of thing while also making his brother's shop even better. And it just like I understood that. I just didn't know really where it was going, but the acting and everything like that and the intensity and the stress from every episode was great. And it really just in comparison to 7 and 8, I think 7 and 8 were like perfection. I mean, they're so good. I was like episode seven's only 20 minutes and it's perfect. I wouldn't want it any longer.
Yeah.
The one shots, like everything. It's just like the camera's rotating around the kitchen, constantly telling stories all at the same time. It's purely like amazing. And then 8 too, with the monologue at the beginning and really tying everything together. It really like those two episodes in comparison to the rest of the season. I mean, it's insane. It's like I was watching two different things. I was like, where the hell was this at? Like this is amazing. So if I could rate 7 and 8 by alone, I'd give those 100 easily. But yeah, it's just the beginning of the season for me was just a tad bit slow. It didn't keep me like compelled and invested. Whereas the second half of the season, I was like, I need the next one. I need the next one. So I am really excited for season two. I think the ending to season one was really strong, and I hope they can keep doing more episodes like they did with 7 and 8. So I'll give it an 88.
Gotcha.
Oh,
I still feel like that's a fair rating for a show that this is its pilot season. Saying 88. I'm gonna go a little bit higher than you. Kind of what you said. I'm gonna go with a 95 on this one. I was overly really impressed. It had the Brian seal of approval right off the bat, which is generally pretty good. When I have a friend that's saying you gotta watch this, like stop what you're watching. I don't care what show you're on. Check this out. It's short. You're gonna crank through it. I'm like, all right, maybe I should. It helped that it did have 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, so that helped carry Brian's word a little bit. And
I didn't even
immediately
know
I
that.
and immediately I get into it, and I'm like, the first episode, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm like, this is so hectic. And that first episode, if you listen to this podcast and you get into that and you watch the first episode, you may be like, oh, this just isn't for me. I don't know, because that may turn you off because of how hectic it is. However,
Yeah.
me, I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep watching. I want to see what's happening. And it was awesome. Like Josh said, though, 7 and 8 were perfect. 1 through 6 were good to
good.
great, good to great, but 7 and 8 were perfect, and that's what really pushed it over the edge for me. Gets it into the 90s. Excited for season 2. Excited with how they ended it. They leave it and you're itching for season 2. It'd be okay if it ends like this. It'd be okay if they do a limited series. It's not going to be the end of the world, but because they leave it on a cliffhanger, but not enough where you'd be like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen? It's enough of a cliffhanger where you're like excited for season 2, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen. I think Brian, you said that you hope they don't do 4 or 5 seasons, or maybe that was you, Aiden.
Yeah.
That
I
was
I
agree
me.
with
feel like
that.
if they
No,
shot for like 3 to 4 and then wraps, like I'd be
I
cool with
mean,
that. They
I
don't
would,
need
I,
to
w-
go like extended. Like anything past 4 would be doing
I
too
would
Yeah.
much,
love
you
them to
know?
keep going with it, but I'm just saying, like the story as it is now is just perfect. You
Oh
know,
no,
they
and
could
that's
end it
Yeah.
like that, and it could be a limited series, and I'd be completely happy with that. More is better, but I hate when a show just keeps going on
drags
when it's
on.
already mint and it
Hmm.
ruins the entire thing.
Yep.
Like like just stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think
no.
it's at a good point that it is right now. That first season is mint.
And that's kind of my thoughts with it. Knocking off a few points because there's just the 5 points for, I guess you could say, the first 5 or 6 episodes each drop it down a point for me at least.
Hmm
And then some of the VFX effects, whatever they were, a little
I
questionable.
don't know what the
I'll
fuck they were.
I'll give
I don't have
it
any. I don't have any
I'll
experience in
give it
that
a little
background. Just the same
slide
as
because it's a
cooking, but
Hulu show and it's not probably massive budget, and I don't know, they were more
shit
concerned
must have
with
been free.
the cinematography and things like that, which
Yeah,
is awesome throughout the show. The shots of the
yeah.
food, the story, like you said, Josh, in episode 7, when they're just going around the restaurant and there's just stories going on the whole time. Like you get to. I was never in that environment. I have no experience in a restaurant other than trying to make macaroni in the kitchen from the box, which is about
Behind.
as advanced as I.
Yes, chef. You're fucking on the stove. Your mom's fucking
Yeah.
corner.
God damn it! Fucking burns the
Get
macaroni.
the
He's on his
fuck out of
phone. He
my
lets it
kitchen.
the flames on too high. This guy. So after watching this, would you guys do you regret like I think a restaurant would be fun. Working at that like back in the day. Like, do
Back
you
in the
think it would
day,
be
Not for
fun?
me.
the only
Yeah, not for
time
you.
it would have been cool is like right after high school. That's
Yeah.
when I got done working at Little Caesars. If I found like a kitchen job in college just to fucking like work on the weekends, like I think that would have been fun. I think it would have been absolute hell, but I think it would have been like that would have been my only time to do it. Now it's too late for me to do anything like that.
See, but the
Well, yeah,
big
like I
takeaway
don't
is go on.
understand. Like I wanted to know how many times like what are they getting paid an hour to do this shit? I know they
Yeah.
love it, but like
Mhm.
this is like high stress. Like
They
I'm
kept
like I
talking
wonder how
about.
people with anxiety fucking can
Oh
handle watching the
God.
show because
Oh,
it
it's
is
tough.
every episode is stressful.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
they kept mentioning a lot about paychecks. I could barely make. What are they saying? I could barely make paychecks. I don't know what is it, salaries.
well, yeah, I
We're not
know
getting paid
he
salaries,
couldn't
obviously,
afford.
but he couldn't afford it.
Sydney's like coming up with
Payout,
ideas how like she could
yeah,
get
payout,
paid and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
He's like, that sounds great, chef.
to
Not
allocate
now.
assets in order to put it back into people's pockets, the workers.
Mhm.
Because
yeah. I
that's
mean,
the other
what
thing
their
is that
toilet floods, they get shot at, everything like that. They
yeah,
never the
no, they're
power goes
super
out.
loyal
They
because
never close
obviously it's
down.
family ran. It's different. If it's a regular restaurant like a corporate chain or anything like that, you don't see any of that. It's complete
Yeah,
opposite of what we just watched.
yeah.
I know,
But
man. The plumbing went out at a specific ham place I worked at, and they told us just to power through it. And I was like, "Isn't this illegal?" Like I had to go visit Josh at Target to use the bathroom.
That ham place shall remain unnamed till we have a lawyer on retainer.
But no, one thing I want to add that since we all watch this show, and I mean, even our viewers, whoever's listening to this right now, gotta watch the 2005 film Waiting.
Oh,
It's
oh!
literally bare.
If you want a little
Someone
from
may have seen
under,
it, dude. It's honestly, it's literally what you just watched. Less stressful, way funnier. It's literally a comedy about like the service
see,
industry.
waiting is essentially what Aiden lived.
Yeah, that's literally what I live. And it's hilarious, man. They got such a good cast. Ryan Reynolds is like the main server there. And it's like a little small like Applebee's. And it just shows the life and how everything revolves around it. Like
Mhm.
I've
the
never seen
shitty
that.
customers.
I haven't
Oh,
Yo,
seen
it's
it
add it to
funny
either.
the
as
list,
fuck.
man. You'll
I'll have to
absolutely
check it
Sounds
love
out.
it.
sweet.
It's
Side note, I just
hilarious.
brought up that ham place. I don't know why, but side note, we're recording this late at night. I just fucking woke up from a nap. The ham place I worked at is the closest to intensity that we've gotten,
Mhm.
like close to this show. Solely because I only worked holidays. So like the Christmas season, they'd come back and be like, "Hey, we need 4 for 800," and we're like, "Dude, we just did 5 for 1,000," and we're
Yeah.
back there opening up fucking 400 hams so that way we could feed people for Christmas.
Ugh,
And
the
that would just
hero.
be the most intense fucking thing ever. Managers coming back, just like, "Hey, where the fuck is this and this?" We're like, "Bro, we already gave you that fucking. It's in the walkie. Go find it." Because that was the thing too. Everyone was bitching. Like they're like, "Well, it's not very realistic because they're smoking cigs and aprons outside." And it was like, "Yeah, that's a health code, but everyone does it.
It still
I've
Yeah, that's
happens.
seen it
fucking
happen.
Yeah.
normal. Some of
I'm
the guys
not
don't
even
even wear
supposed to, you're
aprons.
not supposed to walk past the door with the apron on, but sure shit, I've done it just to catch air. Not
Yeah.
even to smoke, like just to go outside for a second.
Yeah, and just to clarify back to what I said about like the beginning feeling kind of slow or I wasn't too interested was like the first episode and even the second one I actually really did enjoy those. But when Brigade happened and like they're
Brigade
trying
was
that new
funny
system and then
because that
Dogs
guy
too where they went and did the kids birthday party, both those episodes for me just like I'm like, what are we doing? Like it just, I don't know. It felt a little slow. Like so those were the two episodes where it was like starting to dip down for me,
I enjoyed
and then it
both
came back up.
because it felt like it was just a wrench thrown at them when things are looking up.
Hmm.
And like, cause the brigade one was funny, cause what's the foreign dude's name? The guy that's like reading the newspaper at the start of Seven. I forget his name, but that was a funny motherfucker. Anything he was in, but he goes, "I was in a brigade once." He goes, "Everyone
Edwin
died."
Gibson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then he was going.
Like
He's like, "Are you
everyone
reciting
turns and
Black
goes,
Hawk
"How
Down?"
was it?"
When he just told him when he got stabbed, and he's like patching him up. He's like, "Tell me that story again." He's like, "Are you reciting Black Hawk Down?"
It just,
It's
I
good as
got
hell.
stabbed. I got stabbed. Nobody talked to me. So, Andrew, what was the official rating?
I I said 95.
95
That's
was
what
the
I
official.
gave it.
All right.
Yeah, so
Mm.
we all gave this pretty high scores, especially for this. Like I said when I started my spiel, for this being a show in its first season, kind of a new concept. There's not really. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't look for shows about food, but this feels like the first drama show focused around a restaurant. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully there's not like some huge TV show. You guys know anything and I'm just drawing a blank.
No, we're
I
just
mean,
letting
like
you
I
look
said,
silly.
Chef. Chef is
Okay.
one that's similar to it.
Yeah, but
Cheers.
so it's cool to
Waiting.
see something kind of new with a cast that I think all of you guys said just has awesome chemistry. Like
Oh yeah.
it felt natural.
Did.
Everyone in there that they chose is perfect for their role. There wasn't really anything that I went into this and was like, oh, I would absolutely change that. I mean, I'm knocking 5 points basically for nitpicking to just be an ass. But other than that, I was very happy with that show.
Yeah.
I think kind of all were for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
100%. Like I
I
said, I'm
forgot.
excited to see if
Cheers.
they get I'm excited to see if they get nominated, which I mean, why wouldn't they? I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people I mean, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so obviously a decent amount of people is getting traction. Um I
And
hope
if you
Yeah,
that
I
they
have
do it
think
Hulu,
good with
check it
I
season
out.
think
2.
it was a good idea because when I had originally watched it, and then when Andrew was watching it, I was like, "Let's fucking make an episode on it now." And Andrew was like, "Let it gain a little more traction and let more people watch it and let the ratings
Yeah.
come."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was the right call because again, I don't know, I watched it. I think like by the second day that it was out, like I watched it that weekend, and I didn't know that they were releasing all the episodes. I thought I was gonna have to wait weekly. So a part of me wishes it was weekly solely so that way I didn't have to
You
fucking
didn't
wait.
grind through it in one
But
sitting.
also, I'm also very glad that I was able to sit down in one sitting, watch the whole
Yeah.
thing.
That's the thing, yeah. If you haven't seen the show and you're just listening because you like listening and I don't know, you just enjoy some of our voices or hate our voices, I don't really care. We're gonna keep on doing this. Check out the show. It's 8 episodes, 30-minute average, I would say.
Yeah,
One of
that's
them's
nice.
Yeah.
40, some of them are 20. You will crank through this. Even better if you have Hulu without ads. Aiden can't afford that yet. He's still waiting for the ads for
Yeah.
him to
I
Come
get
start
it
on,
free with
guys.
Sprint, so you
Come on,
know I'm
guys. We
broke. I
need
got
this.
Sprint. Yeah.
Brian had to bum it off a friend, so please go like on
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
So
subscribe, and just let
I'm
Luckily,
it
not
replay.
I'm
my
not down the
roommate had
worst
the
right
Hulu
now.
no commercials, so I hit her up and was like,
Oh,
"Yo, can I borrow this?" Yeah, I thought it was my uncle, but then I thought about it. The thing was, I tried to watch it on my uncle's, and he had commercials, and I was like, "This isn't gonna work."
Dude, it's awful, man. That's why I refuse to watch anything on Hulu.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
don't
why
but
you
blame you.
guys kept
that
telling me, and I obviously pushed it off because
that
I'm
makes
sitting there and it's
sense.
getting good, and then out of nowhere it cuts a 2 minute
Hmm.
commercial break. I'm like, God, dude,
Yeah,
like it's not even worth it.
Do you think it's
yeah.
better or worse that I'm going off on a tangent here, but that they put the timer for the ads in the
Oh
top
yeah,
corner?
it's god awful. No, I mean I guess so. At least I know I can get up and walk around before I
Yeah.
lose my mind. Just I literally, or I'll be on my phone like during the episode, you know, like a slow part, and then
Yeah.
I'll put it down, and then it cuts right to a commercial. Like bye. I just pull my phone right back out. I'm like,
I can't win.
oh man, I can't. I was like, Jesus, man,
They
it
need the
pisses me off
Spotify
so
option.
much.
If you watch two at how
Nah,
I've
It's
had
honestly,
fucking
premium for
Hulu. Hulu
six
used to
years.
have that.
Did they?
Maybe that was
Oh
for
shit.
movies. Like they
Okay.
would just bum you with like fucking 7 off rip, like 7 minutes worth of ads. I'm like, all right, enjoy this
Yeah,
hour
it's
and a
how
half
it was. I
movie.
think it still is. Yeah, no. There's nothing on there besides this show that's honestly worth paying extra for now. No ads.
Yeah. Well, I
Probably
mean,
right.
well, because of
Realistically.
FX, when it comes down to it, they also Dave always goes on there, so
Yeah.
that's good to have no commercials. And then
Funny.
Archer,
Atlanta's
have
on
fun.
Hulu.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Handmaid's Tale is a good show on Hulu.
I've
I
heard
know
great
Yeah.
things about that show.
Josh watched that.
It's a good
Stuff
show.
like that.
Sonny's on there.
Sonny,
Yeah.
yeah.
Archer.
Yep.
Rick
But
and
all right,
Morty.
Josh, you want to close us out here? We've been going
Yep.
for a little
Go
while.
check us out on YouTube. Download the podcast if you're listening to it on Apple or Spotify or whatever you're listening to it on.
Download it and delete it if you hate it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Helps
just
us
download
out.
it
Just
for
at least
30
hit that
seconds. It
download
helps
button,
out.
you know.
Run it
Like,
up.
comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Let us know who you love. Let us know who you hate.
Get us,
Yep.
Don't
like
forget to
literally
send-
add us on Twitter, Instagram.
Don't forget to
Yep.
send your fan illustrations in for your favorite podcaster to the PO box. Even if you want to shit in a bag, you know, instead of the PO box.
Yeah, we'll send it over. Tell your mom about us, please.
Yeah, tell your
Please tell your
sisters,
moms.
She doesn't already
tell
know.
your grannies. But all in all, great show. If you haven't checked out The Bear, watch it on Hulu.
Please.
And if you enjoy The Bear, go watch 2005 film Waiting.
Yeah, and
Even
then
better.
we'll be back Friday with Bullet Train. So
Bullet
Brad Pitt.
Train.
Yep.
Sir.
All right, boys.
I'll
All
see ya.
right.
All right.
Peace
See
See
ya.
out.
you later.